Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today we are going to be painting waves and making waves for our video on YouTube and some other places. I don't know, we might put them some other places
We're
in
on
the
Rumble
future.
now, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're going to show you how to make wave. You show you make wave, I show you paint wave.
Very caveman. Right.
Wait, hold up.
Okay, folks. As you can see, we've already made a whole bunch of islands. Islands and crags and things sticking up. These are the islands. And you probably already know most of the techniques. So we're just going to go with the really hard part, which is, if you can see on this one.
Can I have dry brush thing?
Yeah, hold on just a second. We've already made the waves with the hot glue gun and inked them with a blue ink wash from Army Painter, blue tone. That's what I always use. I didn't do the back because it's not important for the tutorial. The little guy is going to do the dry brushing of the white at the crests of the waves just to give them that foamy look, and it'll also help distinguish them a little bit more so they stand out from the rocks and things like that. And I'm going to get him a dry brush like he asked for. Let's see. Most of the ones I was using are wet, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, this is the dry brush I'll use.
That's not even a paintbrush, you goofball.
So do I do this? Wait, hold on.
This one will work. This one will work. It's kind of messed up. Just
Nice.
and don't worry about getting. It's almost more of an overbrush where you don't have to get all the paint off. Otherwise, it's not going to show up. But I've already done some of the first part, which is the hot glue part, which is what I'm going to show you right now, because it's kind of the more difficult part. I'm looking for which one. I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, as you can see, I've already built up a huge amount of dry hot glue all over here. And you let it cool off and try to get it, as close to the edges and things like that. But you really want a thick bead on this one. I actually went and did it twice. I made let's do this one. First I did a layer, and then when it cooled completely, then I added another bead all the way around. And it's just a really simple technique. The little guy is not real fond of it. But you just take the hot glue gun. You're not going to actually use any glue. You can if you want.
You need to use the glue in the beginning.
Right. No, but I'm not going to be pulling the trigger, is what I should have said. Basically, what?
Not yet.
And basically, you just set it in there and let it re-melt the glue. Okay? And then push. It's going to take a while to heat up the old glue. But you want to, once you, there it goes. You're going to use part of the side of the glue gun nozzle there, and then you just push it up against the waves. And, you can move it around like that. And it's a pretty time-consuming process to get it all in there, and just keep pushing up the glue. And then pull it back a little so that it sort of makes a splash effect. You might not be able to see it quite that, here, but I'm going to try and go really slow so you can get a good idea. And once it starts hitting up against the styrofoam, pull it back a little, and then slide it back over to the side and do it again. And just really try to push as much of that glue up against the cliff face there. And as you're doing it, it will leave little divots right here that will also look like waves. And you can wipe it off on the side and then, tease it out a little bit. Go over it again.
Okay.
Start from where you started and go back over again.
I don't remember where I started.
Where you started on the left or the right side, and go left to right or right to left.
But that doesn't help me figure out which one I started on.
Well, you'll figure it out when you get there.
Okay.
And as you can see, it's just building up. some roughness. And believe it or not, I did this exact technique for the volcanic island all the way around that 2.5 or 2x2 section of XPS foam, and it took me days to do this. I would do a little bit, get tired of doing it, and go back, and it took me about 16 hours of work just on that one desert island.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but it turned out really good. And as you can see, it doesn't get quite as hot as when you are squeezing the trigger for the hot glue, and it also does something to the glue to make it not quite a different texture, or well, kind of. That looks good. Now, did you try getting around a little bit at the bottoms of the waves? And then when you're done with that, if you want, you can squeeze out some blue ink and do some of the other three that I did, just to help me out here.
Okay.
And I recommend, you also see a little bit of spider webs. You could just destroy them by hitting it with the hot nozzle. But as you can see, it also makes a little bit of wave action going down here at the bottom. And I'm going to try and go through the whole island, crag, whatever you want to call these things. And if you really want to get really, really spiffy, you could do this upside down and then let gravity pull it back down for you. I'll show you that in just a second, but it's harder for the camera to see. But it'll help get sort of a... Yeah, you know what, I can't do that upside down. No, the camera won't be able to see it, but you get the idea. You can hold the whole thing upside down. And
Is that what you did for all of these?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
You didn't?
No. But I have done it for other things, especially when I was first putting the glue beads on there. I would hold it upside down, and that way the glue would sort of pool, try to drip off and sort of make little mountains of glue. It's just it's a little time consuming, but it just takes patience. And I do the same thing around the edges of the sailing ships and the submarines and things that I built, and we'll be showing all those off and some other stuff that we've been meaning to get to at the end of the month when we finally get back to doing a Sunday show-off show. Between the little guy being sick and vacation and house guests and stuff, we got a little bit behind on our projects, but real life has to come first.
Yes.
And I'm almost all the way back around, but I'll get my arm out of the way so the camera can see. Don't worry that the ink is going to pool up. You kind of actually want that.
You absolutely do want that.
It shows off.
Yeah, you want it to stain, but you also want it to pool.
Yeah, and that way it gives you a little bit more 3D look to the water.
Even though the water is already 3D.
Right, it just gives a little bit of shadow and variation in the color. I'm using a basic, really generic blue color for the bases, and you want to kind of obscure and hide that as much as possible. I could have gone multi shades with the blue paint, but I just wanted to get these more or less table ready. Plus they're going to have to match the color of the tablecloth or battle mat that I'm going to use for when we play galleys and galleons. So you don't want them to stand out too much. So I picked your basic, tablecloth blue, which you can get the tablecloths or the table covers. They're not really cloth; they're just cheap, really cheap plastic that you can get at the local dollar store or Dollar Tree for $1.25 or what have you, and then you can just cover your table with that, and you're pretty much ready to go and play some Man of War or whatever naval game you're going to use these for. And I'm almost all the way back around to the other side. Keeping an eye out for spider webs because they will detract from the overall look. Oh, you got all three of them. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you set the skull island in front of me so that the camera can get a really good look at the overall effect with just some simple stuff. I mean, all this was made with white styrofoam that's free, from your regular packing materials that you get, when you buy electronics or whatever. You don't have to go and use the expensive XPS stuff. You can just, kind of save and hoard your white styrofoam. Hit it with the barbecue lighter that is, when you say the funnest part of the whole project.
See?
And then, glue it to some foam, foam board after you take the paper off. We did all this stuff in the previous, not the previous craft video, but earlier.
That is actually the funnest part.
That right there, the catapult glue gun.
Yes.
But, if you guys have been watching this for any length of time, you know that we found some really interesting, things we can do with hot glue guns over the last almost 3 years. Not just, melting it, but actually using it as base materials. Like when the little guy made his crystal golems, those were pretty epic.
You still have them?
And, the fire elementals that he made. And what else did we make? Made the ice elemental or golem, the crystal golem. We made some fireplaces and the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
And the fire elemental that lights up. We'd have to make another one of those now that we've, improved our technique. I think we can do a better one.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, to get it, to light up a little bit better.
Oh, that one lights up fine.
And I promised Bruce that we'd send him something made from hot glue and fire.
So not having it.
Yeah, it's only been, 6 months or so.
You never told me.
Yeah, I did. You just...
Okay, I was busy when you told me.
It was just so long ago, you probably forgot. It's not a big deal. He's not going to take it personal. Right, Bruce? And I think we're just about done with this side. All right, there you go. See? I'll put that up. And you can, set these up. You want to, probably leave some space in so that ships can sail in and around them. But like I said before, it's a real simple technique. It just takes a little bit of patience, a lot of time, and very, very little money. So that's pretty much it. We just wanted to get this, out of the way because, as you see, I've already done a lot of work on the islands. Maybe later I'll tell you guys how I did this one. This one's probably my favorite. Even though this one's got the full Cthulhu little temple thing going on there.
Is that a magnet?
Yeah, it is. No, it's actually a Herstarts mold.
Of
pillar.
a magnet.
No, it's just some one of the columns shattered or didn't come out right, or but.
So look, give me a magnet.
They're not here, they're downstairs.
That means you're lying.
No, it doesn't mean I'm lying.
It doesn't mean you're lying. That's kind of your job, though.
There you have it, folks. I'm going to go beat the kid. And we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Full music, full everything. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure you check out all our friends out there on TV Land. Anything you want to say? Anybody want to say goodbye to before we leave?
Not particularly, no.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We love you. Do the things, hit the buttons, and we'll see you guys Sunday? Sunday. We'll see you guys Sunday.
Wait, no?
Well, I'll see you guys Friday. Well, Saturday? You going to be on the show Saturday night?
Probably not.
Okay. Then we'll see you guys Sunday.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.